All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking why scaling your brand's merchandise program actually requires a lot more than just, slapping your logo on a cheap pen. We've all seen it, the generic giveaway that ends up forgotten in a junk drawer. But today, we're diving into the strategic side of promotional products and how a truly integrated approach can absolutely transform how you connect with your audience.
Think about this for a second. Have you ever tried coordinating, say, 100 employee welcome kits across 5 different time zones, only to find yourself totally drowning in vendor invoices and shipping logistics? Yeah, it's incredibly common. As your business grows, the sheer logistics of managing these programs can quickly snowball into a massive headache, literally pulling your team away from the jobs they were actually hired to do.
So, to get you out of those operational weeds, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the real merchandise challenges, going beyond just swag, connecting with your audiences, a quick case study on the Grossman and Fleet merger, and finally, exactly how to choose the right partner.
All right, starting things off with Section 1, Merchandise Challenges, and tackling the branded challenge. Now, there's a really stark contrast between two very different approaches to your merchandise. On one side, you have the piecemeal approach. This is where you're desperately juggling one vendor for sourcing, somebody else entirely for customization, maybe another facility for storage, and yet another company just to ship the stuff. It's an internal coordination nightmare. But on the flip side, you have the strategic advantage of centralizing the whole shebang with a single full-service distribution partner. Because to run a successful program, you have to balance brand consistency, quality, strict budgets, and inventory. Working with one integrated partner seamlessly handles all those moving parts for you. Moving right along to Section 2, beyond just swag, because it really is about more than just products.
The crucial point here is that a true partner takes all of these operational needs completely off your plate. Modern merchandise programs, they require serious creative strategy and heavy operational support. Picture this, you're launching a major employee program. You don't just need a few products. You need branded apparel, printed materials, maybe a slick online ordering system, massive inventory storage, and direct-to-door shipping. A full-service distributor brings together creative design, custom development, and all that fulfillment to just massively reduce your team's stress. They aren't just selling you a catalog of items, they actually act as an extension of your own marketing and HR teams.
Let's actually trace the life cycle of a promotional product. Sourcing the right merchandise, honestly, that's really only step 1. Look at the rest of this workflow. Once those products are produced, they have to be stored safely, organized, carefully packed, and finally shipped out. You can clearly see why having a rock-solid fulfillment infrastructure is absolutely vital, especially if your company needs to serve employees or customers spread across multiple, totally different geographic locations. A centralized system is literally the only way to manage that inventory without things slipping through the cracks.
Which brings us to Section 3, connecting audiences and making those crucial audience connections. Let's talk about your external audience first. Trade shows, sports sponsorships, and brand activations. These are massive opportunities. But instead of just dumping generic items on a folding table and kind of crossing your fingers, businesses can rely on their distribution partner to select highly useful products specifically tailored to that event's purpose. Why does this matter so much? Well, because useful products are far more likely to actually be kept and used by the recipient. And that means your brand gets continued, real-world exposure long after the conference hall has been packed up. But hey, merchandise isn't just for external marketing. It's a real game changer for your internal company culture too. We're talking huge opportunities for building employee engagement. Think about new hire welcome kits that make a killer first impression, or milestone and recognition gifts, or high-quality branded apparel. Plus, setting up these internal programs, especially online company stores, offers tremendous convenience. Your employees can just log onto an online platform, pick out approved branded gear themselves, and have it shipped directly to them. It maintains your strict brand consistency while genuinely helping employees feel deeply connected to the organization. It's a total win-win.
Now for Section 4, let's look at a real-world example with our Grossman case study, the fleet acquisition.
This timeline maps out a very powerful integration in the industry. First, you have Grossman Marketing Group, which was founded way back in 1910. That gives them incredibly deep historic roots in print and promotional products. Then you have Fleet Business Products, founded up in East Hartford, Connecticut in 1987. Fast forward to 2015, and Grossman acquires Fleet. Now, this isn't just a story about one company getting bigger. It's the perfect historical example of how the growing complex demands of branded merchandise practically mandate integrated solutions.
Breaking this down a bit further, you can really see why this merger was so effective. It brought together Fleet's highly established, local customer relationships with Grossman's incredibly broad marketing capabilities. It just proves that providing top-tier service requires serious infrastructure. Following the acquisition, Grossman was running major operations across Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, and Washington, D.C. They successfully combined local, personalized touch with massive logistical backing. We're talking graphic design, multiple warehouses, production facilities, and that vital e-commerce technology we touched on earlier.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, choosing a partner and finding the right distribution. Look, you absolutely must look far beyond a basic product catalog. When you're evaluating a potential partner, you are essentially choosing a logistical extension of your own business. So a strong partner has to be evaluated on their operational experience and their actual fulfillment infrastructure. Like, do they actually have the physical warehouses and the shipping networks? You also have to look at their technology, but honestly, just as importantly, you have to evaluate their genuine ability to understand your overarching marketing objectives. Can they align with your specific budget, your tight timelines, and your unique brand identity? If the only question they ask you is, how many pens do you want? I promise you, they are not a strategic partner.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this fantastic thesis. The goal is not simply to put a logo on a product. It is to create a branded experience that supports recognition, engagement, and lasting connections. That is absolutely the ultimate takeaway here. When you treat your merchandise as a holistic, integrated program, it stops being this annoying administrative burden and starts being a true strategic asset. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. As your organization plans its next big campaign or employee initiative, are you just buying swag, or are you strategically creating a memorable, lasting brand experience?